Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever it is you are, whenever it is you're listening to this. I'm Lore Seeker, the angriest robot on the planet, and today we have some jolly news to discuss regarding Magic the Gathering, Netflix, and what is not happening. You see, a few years ago, 2019, if I recall correctly, it was announced that there was going to be a Magic the Gathering animated series put up on Netflix. And it's one of those things that when you first hear about it, you're kind of excited, but the more you think about it, the more you're dreading it. I mean, this series was announced right around the time of War of the Spark, which does seem pretty promising. But when you're paying attention to the quality that most Netflix shows have, combined with the average storytelling of any given Magic set, doubts started to pile up quick, but it didn't really matter because for the longest time there was no real news about this show. It was year after year, just kind of, yeah, it's still in development, it's still going, it's still trucking along. And last I heard, it was slated for release in 2022. In fact, a common joke between me and a friend of mine were that, hey, it's coming out any day now as we near the end of 2022. And it was like December 27th, and we were still like, yeah, any second now, it's gonna drop all at once. It's gonna come out. And then it never did. And 2023 came along, and now we're well into 2024, and well, you see, yesterday, Collider and a few other outlets put out an article explaining that there's a really large chance that the Magic the Gathering Netflix show has been canceled and forgotten. In an interview, Brandon Ruth, an actor who was involved with the show, basically said the following. When asked about the show, he responded, "I'm not sure. I did a voice for it. As far as I understand, nobody's put out a press release about it, but apparently it's not happening." That's kind of old news. I'm not sure why it's surfacing again, which is just a sad kind of thing to say, like, yeah, it's not happening. Not sure why you're asking about it. Ruth was apparently set to voice Gideon Jur, which would have been interesting since there's no way that this would have released, before War of the Spark. That just would not have happened. Gideon was dead well before this series would have released. But more importantly, this just goes to show how poorly Magic's story really is handled. Now, I want to be clear, I don't think an article from Collider is definitive proof of anything. Like, yeah, it's probably canceled. In fact, I would personally guess it's been canned, but I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibility that something does happen with this show, maybe in the future, maybe in the near future. Fingers crossed we do get something eventually, but even if we do, I have very low hopes that it'll be good. I mean, just look at Thunder Junction, just look at the Duskmourn story, look at the Duskmourn trailer. That thing was so bad. Really, I'm going to be honest, guys. I have conflicting feelings right here. On one hand, I had absolutely no faith that this was going to be good. I had every expectation that it didn't matter who was involved, whether it was like some great director and writer or some absolute trash team. I had no hope that it was going to be an enjoyable story, but I was going to, watch it. But on the other hand, I had been expecting it for a while, and it's one of those things, when you're hoping for a while that something will come out, you kind of get disappointed when it doesn't, no matter how bad it is. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, it's just one of those, where is it? Where is this bad pizza I ordered 4 hours ago? Sir, it's a bad pizza. Why do you care? Well, because I ordered it, basically. I want it no matter how bad it's going to end up being, but at the same time, I know it's going to be bad, and I'm going to be disappointed about it regardless. In an alternate timeline, the Netflix show released, last week, and I finally get around to watching it, and this video, instead of lamenting its cancellation, is me just bitching about how bad it was. Life is funny like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, I just wanted to sit down quick and talk about the news and rat on for a bit. It's strange that there wasn't an official announcement of the cancellation, though, especially since I could have sworn in a relatively recent earnings report, Chris Cox had mentioned something about the Netflix show. I could have sworn he mentioned it in an earnings report. Someone will eventually clear that up for me. I could have sworn it was mentioned. The other thing I'm curious about is there was supposed to be a book accompanying this show. There was supposed to be a novel that either was a novelization of the show's events or just tied into it in some way. And I wonder what happened to that, because those are usually written well in advance. Like, whether or not the show comes out, there's a pretty decent chance that that book has been written. It's happened before. In fact, Curse of the Chain Veil was a magic novel that was supposed to come out years ago, over a decade ago, and it was written, it had an ISBN number, but it was just never released to the public. And I'm curious what happened to that book. I'm curious what happened to the book that was supposed to accompany this series as well, and that's just one of those things that I don't know if we'll ever know what actually happened. And I don't know. That's really all I've got to say, guys. Quick, news update. The Netflix show has been canceled, and I'm kind of conflicted about it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This video was kind of negative. If you're looking for some positivity, head on over to my second channel, Frank's Hobbies, where I just talk about the things I enjoy. And with that said, I will see you kids in the next video.